This is Lulu. She's a Hog Island boa, which means she comes from the Hog Islands off the coast of Honduras, or rather her ancestors do, since Lulu herself was born in Wolverhampton. Science says that Hog Island boas are boa imperators, boa imperator being a species of snake that lives in Central and South America. Watch this video till the end and I'll prove that Hog Island boas are not boa imperators, but are in fact a separate species. If you clicked on this video, you probably already know what a Hog Island boa is, but for the benefit of anyone who doesn't, a Hog Island boa is a locality of boa imperator. Not a subspecies, that would be something different. Being a locality means that they come from a particular neighbourhood. It's like with the Bloods and the Crips, only without the mutual hostility, and if the Bloods were a bit shorter perhaps than the Crips and had spots or something. Because Hog Island boas are smaller than boa imperators from the mainland, they have these lovely freckles, they're paler and they change colour at night. Not only that, but they do one thing, which I'm going to get into a bit later, way better than regular boa imperators. And it's for this reason that I think they should be reclassified as a separate species. But how does science make those kinds of decisions? I did a bit of research, ChatGPT, and apparently scientists look at a number of different factors when deciding whether a particular group of animals can be considered a separate species from another. And one of the things they look at is reproductive isolation, meaning that if the first group of animals doesn't mate with the other group of animals in the wild, then they must both belong to two separate species. For a Hog Island boa to mate with a boa imperator from the mainland, one of them would have to buy a ticket for the ferry to get across that little stretch of the Caribbean Sea, so I don't really think that's significant here. Another thing scientists consider is how similar or otherwise one group of animals is to another. This is a regular boa imperator, and this is Lulu. There's certainly more than a passing resemblance, but at the same time, you can totally tell them apart, so. One more consideration is whether the animals live in different habitats and, still ChatGPT, perform different roles. Well, Hog Island boas live in the Hog Islands, whereas regular boa imperators don't, and what roles? Point number 4 is about evolutionary history and whether the animals can be traced back to different ancestors over time. Well, who knows really, we'll just brush past that one. And finally, we come to genetic differences. I'm going to read now from S.E.W. Green's 2011 thesis on evolutionary biology and conservation of the Hog Island boa constrictor. Phylogenetic analysis reveals that populations of B.C. Imperator in the Cayos Cochinos and on the nearby Bay Islands form a monophyletic group that likely diverged from the mainland approximately 2 million years ago. There you see, phylogenetic analysis. Monophyletic group. That's it for the theory. We're going to move on now to the practical, in which I'll demonstrate exactly why the Hog Island boa should be reclassified as a separate species from the boa imperator. This is Sunny, our regular non-Hog Island boa imperator. If anyone's puzzled by the fact that he's orange, it's because he's a Carl Sunglow jungle, which just means he carries a particular combination of genes. He's still a boa imperator. Right now he's around my neck, but he's not going to stay there for very long, so we're going to watch him and see where he decides to go. Okay, I'm going to lift him up now because there is a risk that he might disappear under that cupboard, but I think we can see the direction that he wanted to head in, i.e. he wanted to head south. He wanted to get to the floor. I'm going to pop him back now. And now we're going to do the same thing with Lulu, starting now. Okay, that's that. She's going to be all right up there for a little bit, so now it's back to myself in the studio. As you saw, Sunny's every instinct was to get down to ground level, while Lulu went the other way, seeking security up high. Here are the results of that experiment in graph form. The snowshoe hares who live on Baffin Island, this is going to sound like a bit of a digression, but it's not. The snowshoe hares who live on Baffin Island are smaller than those who live in mainland Canada, and as such they constitute a distinct locality. If you saw one of each sitting side by side, which is very unlikely to happen because there's no geographical overlap between the two populations, but if you did, and if you snuck up behind them and made a noise like an Arctic fox, I can guarantee they would both run away. You wouldn't see one of them climb a tree or stick out a paw and try to hail a cab. And that's because they're the same species, you see. So that's it. Hog Island boas and boa imperators must be two separate species. QED. And that stands for, it's quite exhausting doing all this science, especially when it's not in your DNA, which stands for, I don't know anything about biology, but I do know our two snakes, and they're very different. See you in the next video.